Asante sana eh. Yes. How are you good people? Yes. What do you need from me?
Naambiwa hapa niweke design hizi someka vizuri. Ready, iko sawa hapo.
Nikache kwanza hivi.
I come from Nairobi County.
give you another shot. Camera.
Au ni ile tu nilikuwa nataka tupate na ile background ya huko.
Kadiyang kusang. Yes? Niende huko ndani. Sawa. Unasema kule hauangaliwa.
Which county?
I come from Mazishi County.
Was the issue government?
I went to school, and when I graduated from the University of Nairobi, I didn't quite get a job, so I started to hustle. And in the process, of course, I developed a business career. I am married to Rachel, and I have 6 children. I have served as I was first an untrained teacher. Became a business partner. I was elected as a member of parliament for the first time in 1997. I served 3 terms as a member of parliament. In 2013, I was elected as deputy president, and then in 2017. And that is the position I currently serve. I don't know whether you want me to say more.
Good. My name is Ruto Verification. I'm the deputy ST for this party, responsible for strategy and policy. Why have you chosen the UDA party as a platform to aspire to pursue your presidential aspirations? I just want to be sure that there's some congruence between what you believe in and what the party stands for.
I am aware of the United Democratic Party, and I also understand what it stands for. And to a great extent, I share in the vision of this party. This party believes in a tribeless nation, believes in the unity of Kenya, believes in politics of issues and the unity of the nation, and that's what I've always aspired to as a leader in Kenya. I also believe in the manifesto of this party. I believe in an inclusive Kenyan society, inclusive both at a political level and also inclusive at an economic level. I share in the bottom-up economic model of this party, and therefore that's the reason why I have presented myself to run for president and seek the ticket of the United Democratic Alliance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Your Excellency. My name is Kimadi Marete, Deputy Chairperson, Strategy. The third question, as a president, how will you ensure that you realize the UDA vision?
I didn't get your question.
The question is, as a president,
yes,
when you're elected as a president, how will you ensure that you realize the UDA vision?
I have the responsibility to understand the UDA vision, which I am very confident that I do, because you can't realize what you don't understand. And apart from understanding, I also share in my belief in what UDA believes in. And thirdly, I will build a collegiate team that will enable me and all the other people and all the organs of the party to deliver on this vision. I fully understand that while if I become the flag bearer of this party, while I will have the responsibility to provide the leadership, I also understand that it won't be a one-man endeavor. It will be a collective endeavor of party organs. I have to work with party officials. I will work with other leaders of the party at all levels. And I will ensure that all members of this party, beginning from the grassroots, understand the vision of the party, and I will also encourage everybody to contribute ideas and on what they believe that we can work with to improve what they have as a party. So I will provide and build the necessary network for us to deal with the party. Thank you. Next.
Your Excellency,
Asante sana.
Secretary President. My question is, what motivates you to contest for the most office in the
I didn't get your name, sorry. Oh, Suru. Okay, thank you very much. Suru. I believe very strongly that I have the skills and I have developed the experience over time. And I believe that I have something to offer through this party to the nation of Kenya. In my various capacities as a member of parliament, as a minister, and as a deputy president, I have not only acquired experience, but I have also developed belief that a properly run administration can take this country to the next level. I am persuaded that Kenya can be a better country if we have focused, decisive, passionate leadership. And I believe in my candidature, UDA has and Kenya have that candidate wrapped in that.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is David Rotich. I'm the Deputy Treasurer Operations. We'll talk about your skills. Can you tell us more? What skills and competence do you possess to make you an ideal presidential candidate?
As I have told you, I not only have acquired the experience over the last 25 years in various levels of leadership in Kenya. I have also a track record. If you look through my leadership journey, I As a member of parliament in Malmö, my record as a member of parliament is very clear. My record as a minister for agriculture, I worked with different stakeholders, brought down the prices of fertilizer, for example, from an average of, I think it was 5,000 to 2,000 per hour. I also worked on the coffee sector. We had huge debts that had crippled the coffee sector. We worked on how to retire those debts, and many of our coffee farmers had their pieces of land in different financial institutions. We managed to free them. I worked on the dairy sector when I was at the ministry. I worked on the irrigation sector, and that's the time actually we developed the scheme that now we just implemented in Budalani to stop the floods and to provide additional encouragement for the production of rice in Western Kenya. I have also, when I worked at the Ministry of Higher Education, that's when, under my leadership, we developed the Tibet program that we have implemented under the UDA administration. We now have substantially increased the number of Tibet institutions around the country by almost 300%. We had about 40, now we have close to 270. We also had challenges of admission into institutions of higher learning, especially university. Under my leadership, we removed the backlog that many students have to wait for 2 years to get to university. And it had been there for almost 10 years, that problem. I worked with the stakeholders in that ministry and eliminated that challenge. And under the UDA administration that I was in, we managed to accomplish many aspects of the plan we had. So I believe that through this journey, I have developed the skills of leadership, being able to work with other people, being able to delegate to other people, and being able to build teams, to be able to deliver on the vision, the programs, and the agenda that we have. I have also developed leadership capacity to understand how to work with people, to understand the public service and how to motivate people to work under me so that they can all deliver. So I believe that I am best placed in that circumstance to provide strategic leadership for the vision that we have.
Next, that's it.
Your Excellency, my name is Ruto Verification, Deputy Chair in charge of Operations. How do you maintain issue-based campaign given the rising tensions in the country so as to avoid precipitation of violence in various aspects of campaigns?
I have signed the code of conduct of the UDA party that commits all of us as members of this party and especially as candidates to run an issue-based, violence-free campaign. my experience in politics has taught me that what matters to the public is the agenda that you have. And I'm acutely clear that the Kenyan public are listening not to the incidents, not the violent incidences, but they are listening to the agenda that any candidate has. And I am very confident that having run an issue-based campaign for my days when I was running for member of parliament, and from the day when I began to run for deputy president, I have been sufficient experience to know how to run an issue-based campaign that is devoid of violence. So I also have the experience that violence threatens any agenda and any country and the stability of the nation. So I am a strong believer in building consensus and making sure that our politics are issues. Maybe I could conclude by saying we won the election in 2013. And in 2017. I could take maybe an hour to answer that. I believe that in the past 100 days, a couple of things must happen. Number one, I expect that we will roll out the universal health coverage, and every citizen will have a national hospital insurance fund to be able to manage their health requirements. In the first 100 days, I expect that we will have passed the law to provide for our housing development plan that has the potential to create many jobs for our young people. In the first 100 days, I will push for making sure that the law to set up the SME fund that will provide resources for micro, small, and medium enterprise funds to be made available to the many micro, small, and medium enterprises that currently are suffering under the weight of predatory lenders and punitive interest rates. Because you asked me to keep it short, let me leave it there.
Number 9,
my name is Austin Gaida. I'm the Secretary for Economic Affairs and Planning. How will your presidency inspire civil servants to provide the highest level of service to the people of Kenya?
The delivery of any government program is largely dependent on the personnel that will provide leadership in the delivery of our vision. So a motivated public service. I will make sure that the public servants are inspired. I will take time to understand issues in the public service. issues of making sure that the working environment is right, the remunerations are right, the other facilities are right. For example, we have not reviewed the terms of service and salaries of our policemen for a while, and that would be a place to start. We have promotions that have delayed and have caused backlog. And we have many young people who are still locked out of places of work. And we need to tap into the talent of young people and make sure that more young people occupy positions that we can benefit from their talent, energy, and innovation to be able to drive the public service.
Number 9.
Good morning, Your Excellency.
Good morning.
My name is Diana Matile, Secretary for UDA. There's a rising quest amongst the youth for economic empowerment. My question to you is, how do you intend to integrate them in the economy?
I quite agree with you, Katile. I quite agree with you that the young people, depending on what we do with them, can be a blessing or a challenge. The plan that I have, which I share with the UDA, is number one, we must deliberately invest in programs, projects, and plans that will deliberately create jobs. There are, in my estimation, about 4 million young people today out of school, out of college, out of university, and they are not being fully engaged. My plan is to ensure that we invest in infrastructure and programs that will create jobs so that we can bring these young people to be part of our economy, number one. Number two is to deliberately provide opportunities in our SMEs and other sectors by making sure that these young people have the correct skills. That's why I have always believed in Tibet. They have the correct skills, they are properly equipped, so that they can find their way either into jobs or into opportunities to do business or into opportunities to be self-employed. Number three, we will leverage on technology. Many young people operate in the digital space. We will make sure that the digital space is organized in a manner that it will give the young people the opportunity for them to participate meaningfully in the economy, leveraging on technology. And finally, we will make sure that young people have access to credit. And we must tone down the requirement of so many requirements out of the young people. You need to have 10 years experience, you need to have this. We will have to review that so that we can leverage more on the creativity, on the innovation of young people, and use it in place of experience. The young people are much more agile, they're much more creative, they're much more innovative, and we need to tap into that talent for us to move the country forward. Good morning, Your Excellency. Morning. Minor, Secretary Minor and the Treasurer. Okay, Minor. Mine is on innovation. How will you create an environment for innovation within your leadership team?
We will build into our curriculum in education opportunities for young people to begin to engage by ensuring that our learning also provides opportunity for creativity. And the change, for example, in examining talent, examining creativity, examining skills, and making it competence-based is an arena that will facilitate more people to bring their talents and their creativity into the public space. Also, as I said, technology is going to be a big part of going into the future. We will be running a knowledge-based, technology-driven economy going into the future. And that provides space for creativity, that provides space for innovation, and we will go out of our way to make sure that we are flexible to accommodate creativity and innovation as part of our journey into the future as a nation. If we didn't, for example, provide an opportunity for M-Pesa as a technology, it wouldn't be a world-class technology innovation that it is today. So we will provide more opportunities for that kind of creativity. Thank you.
And my questions here happening today is which global trends will shape the world economy in the next 10 years?
In my opinion, at the heart of the global trends is technology. Technology will largely, we will see more of artificial intelligence. We will see more of digital space. We will see more of digital currency. But that will also be shaped by climate change. You know, there is a lot that is happening in the world today that climate change is influencing our whole sector of agriculture. It is influencing the whole sector of energy delivery. So, as a country, we must prepare ourselves to interact with the digital space and to manage through adaptation or through mitigation of the effects of climate change. We must be alive to that. It will shape how we produce food. It will shape the future in what happens if we have more frequent floods, if we have more frequent droughts. It will shape even the delivery of infrastructure into the future. So I think global trends will be shaped by technology to a good extent, a knowledge-based economy to a good extent, and matters to do with climate change.
Okay, last one.
The last one is from me. My name is Lawrence Ngata. I'm the Secretary for Labor and Social Services. Your Excellency, this is about women. How do you intend to utilize women in your government, and especially our rural women in the bottom-up economic model?
The philosophy of this party, which I share, is that women occupy a special place. And I am a father of 4 daughters, so I understand matters women properly. So the bottom-up economic model is about lifting the people at the bottom of the pyramid. You may want to know that largely the people at the bottom of the pyramid are largely women and youth. Women because of access to opportunities, youth because of access to jobs and other interventions. So the bottom-up economic model, the largest beneficiaries from where I sit will be women and young people. Because the people who have challenges accessing job opportunities is the young people. The people who have challenges in accessing credit is largely young people and women. And that's what bottom-up speaks to. 30% opportunities already, by law, should go to women, young people, persons with disabilities. That threshold has not been reached, either in opportunities to do business with government, in other opportunities. I will go out of my way to ensure that opportunities that are clearly stipulated for women and young people are actualized. And the whole bottom-up economic model is actually a model that builds on what is there to actualize what is already provided and to up what is not provided. So I believe that that is really the philosophy of this party, and that is the whole essence of the bottom-up economic model.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I wish on behalf of the members of the next group take this opportunity to thank you for giving us satisfactory answers. Number 2, for choosing UDA to be your party to make you the president of Kenya. And number 3, tell you that we are going to interview more other candidates. You are not alone. And this will be followed by our NDC on 15th of this month at Kasarani, where now we pass a resolution to make that serious definition of our presidential candidate. So you will expect to see others there.
Okay.
And since the time is not working on one side, including yourself, because you have a trip to make tomorrow, we want to set you free and thank you and tell you we hope to see you on Tuesday.
Okay. Okay, Chairman. So thank you very much, members of the NEXT, for giving me this opportunity to present myself for this interview. And I hope I have presented my answers. And I look forward to a favorable consideration. That is why I came here this morning to present myself. I am aware that other candidates for other positions are also being processed who are run for MCA positions, those who want to run for member of parliament and all the other positions, governor, senator, women, also present themselves. But I came here specifically to present myself for the position of president.
And there are others maybe who are
Yes, I met one lady here, and I'm told there is another gentleman who have also presented themselves. I have come with all the requirements that I was asked to come with from my membership of the party, payment of the requisite fees, certificate showing that I have paid my higher education loans board, certificate of good conduct, my testimonials from the institutions of higher learning I attended. And of course, you know, there is a requirement that you must have a university degree to run for president. I have come with my papers and I have attended to panel. I have also answered the questions that I was asked about vision of the party, how I intend to work with others, how I intend to build consensus if I am elected president, how do I, what kind of experience I have in the delivery of public, in the public service, and many other questions. So I have gone through that. I find it very interesting because they have asked questions that I believe will help in getting the right candidate, not just for this party, but for the people of Kenya. I am waiting. I guess they are going to mark my exam. I have pleaded with them to consider me favorably, but I guess it will have to be an objective assessment of all the candidates that will present themselves. And the NEC will make a decision, and they will communicate to us either before or during the National Delegates Conference. I have been informed that we will have a National Delegates Conference on the 15th, which is Tuesday, coming Tuesday, and they will tell us the way forward. Okay? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Asante sana. You should wish me luck.
Peleka Kenya mbele kwa vijana, ishara ya maendeleo. Peleka Kenya.
I'll ask you the next question. As a president, how will you ensure that you achieve the UDA vision?
As a president, the bottom-up economy, it's a new way of thinking about how we handle our money as a country, and it's very inspiring to think of the fact that it's not just about the money being pulled out in terms of revenue and then being distributed. It's about getting the money down. How are you?
Oh, you are here even before.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So why can you continue? Can I have one paper? Whatever. Questions. I give you the last one. Yes, keep it up. Come and sit with us. Yes, please. So we have question 2. Okay. Wonderful.
The bottom line as a party, we achieved mainly by ensuring the grassroots. What do I mean by 2008, when under the government of His Excellency he advocated for the influx of Boda into the country by creating a zero taxation imports. So by doing that, he single-handedly created such a huge influx. For example, before then there were only roughly 16,000 motorbikes in Kenya in operation. But after the zero import duty that he imposed during his reign, the number rose to 57,000, and yearly it increases by an amount of 56,000 bikes annually. So by doing that, getting to grassroots projects, it's ensuring that we put policies in place that will affect what you do. Well, as I said earlier, I'm of the opinion that women, youth, and persons in minority groups do have a perfect opportunity to step up and be, give what they have, because I do believe that we have a lot to offer. Not just to take, inclusivity boxes like, oh, you're a woman, so we put you in power, just get a two-third gender role, so we're not in problem with the Constitution. I do believe that we have a lot of capacity, a lot of talent out there that can actually bring forth fresh ideas that can actually drive this country forward. But I'm also convinced that what I have to offer as a person, irregardless of being a woman, a young person, but the ideas that I'm going to talk in my manifesto is that.
when the UDA ticket and the elected president reference, what are you accepting from the regime in the first 100 days and the end of the first term?
In the first 100 days, I divided into two parts. The first 50 days will be a time of unification. Of course, we know in Kenya, Sub-Saharan Africa, pretty much every part of the world, elections are a very, do or die thing. So the first 50 days, my priority will be unifying the country. Because when you're forming a government, you have to make sure that everyone's on board to ensure smooth running for the next 5 years. So the first 50 days will be unification, consolidation, cohesion, any issues that were there during the election. Because, well, it's a large pool of political talent. There'll be one thing or the other that comes forth. So there are people who will have a lot of issues for them that need to be, we have to consolidate them. We have to, sift through them, not sweeping anything under the rug, to ensure a smooth running. Because the first thing we have to ensure is peace. Without peace, we have nothing. The next 50 days, after, a process of cohesion and everything, it will be to first, after, of course, formation of the government, it will be to make sure that the next 5 years after that are well planned out. I mean, everything from the economy, every step of this, that will be what will be the next 50 days.
My name is Oscar Gaida. How will your presidency inspire civil servants to provide the highest level of service to the people?
I think the best inspiration to service is patriotism. How do you inspire patriotism? By making them feel that they are an integral part of whatever it is they are doing or are part of that. Okay? So, one of the simple ways you can do this is eliminating what's been happening in the past. We've been doing, or there has been, promotion based on wewe ni wa kwetu, wewe ni wa kule. And everything, yet their salaries are some of the lowest. Some of the paid by also increasing some of their salaries. Another thing in inspiring patriotism is simply being a good leader. Simply being an example. How I serve and how I carry myself as a leader will be a precedent to how we live.
Next. Hello. My name is Diana Katana. I'm the secretary. Question is, basically there's an ever-rising question asking there's an ever-rising question asking for president. How are you going to integrate the youth?
Integrating the youth in the economy, as the party has been basically being inclusive in terms of policies. I will repeat again. Policies. Putting into place friendly policies that favor the youth. For example, I'm in my third year currently. We complete next year, inshallah. So when I go out to the market, my employer will look at my resume and be, oh, so you graduated last month? Okay, we need someone with 5 years experience. I'm looking to scrap that. And not just to just scrap it off, but replace it with something I call apprenticeship, whereby an institution is required by law to put in a policy framework with their own institution to make sure that this person is accepted because, one, they pass, that's why they're here. Yeah? Two, they have to be trained in a way. The company or the institution employing has to make sure they have the requisite hands-on skills. But I think that used to happen in the past. I don't know why it doesn't go on. A company will take you, you're competent, they trust your academic abilities, they train you. Some of them, I know of people like that was actually taken to school by the youth. So that was a good way to, one, train him with hands-on skills, but and also at the same time ensure this person has that experience that you need. It's not the 10 years that they want, but this person can do the job.
Maybe just to clarify something that you've said about you're in school. Which kind of school are you in? Oh, for your first degree or something?
Yes.
So you don't have a degree yet? Okay. You're also aware that there's a requirement for a degree when you pursue a presidential ambition?
Actually, in recent times, these students have been allowed to run for member of parliament positions. And as I'm aware, for presidential candidates, they have to meet a member of parliament. So if you can run for member of parliament,
you know for a fact there is a requirement for a degree certificate for a presidential candidate. Governor, presidential, it's a strict requirement. How will you deal with that condition?
As I said, the requirement as per the law is presidential candidate is required to have the qualifications to be member of parliament.
It's a specific. Yes, it's specific on the governance, on the presidential candidates. So mid next year. Or late next year.
Continue with the questions. Next.
Yes.
Show us those documents, please.
Oh, these ones.
Yeah, which one? That's Kisii University.
UDA. Oh, the UDA ones.
So innovation is something that is at the heart of a lot of our
I'm a proud alumni.
to a more vigorous level, science fairs, the science caucuses. I remember the first time I presented some of my ideas. I was 16 years old. I was so excited at the time because you realize there is someone who's actually, or there is a group of people who actually value your ideas. That encourages because it encourages you. The second way I do that is funding and funding and funding. A lot of these institutions that incorporate and majorly incorporate STEM education as part of their normal curriculum. So those are the two ways.
Next.
Yeah, I have something. Begin with the one
We are in technological race. So technology and digitization is a major factor to consider. Any economy or any country that results majorly incorporate technology into their basic education, basic operations, is going to be left out of a revolution that's already driven a huge second one is the green revolution. That one that says we have to be taking going away from plastic bottles, going away from printing, so many things on the table. Going green will get hard the next revolution. And the next revolution is that will be taking the world forward in the coming age. Is that we're going back to the times the ancient Greeks loved to have institutions of higher learning. They're quite different from what we have now, where we go to school, sit, and the lecturer comes, teachers, and they have institutions where ideas are shared. You bring your idea, I bring my idea, we table, we discuss them, we disprove or approve. Okay? The intellectual is the ones. So we have to start.
Yeah, and the last question is, how do you intend to have a place for women in your government under the bottom-up
Bottom-up. First, I'd also like to again reiterate the fact that a woman is here to it's a huge honor. So by incorporating projects, just like I said, incorporating policies that will enable the youth to easily go into the job market or into starting their own businesses, same can be done for women. You know, for example, at the grassroots level, Wanjiko is our Mamangoga. Wanjiko is my laundry maid. Wanjiko is my nurse at my local community health center. By including or incorporating policies that specifically target women, that specifically make sure that women are included not just in job opportunities, but on various platforms where they can also engage meaningfully with their ideas and
Yeah, thank you, Tracy Wanjiru Kinori, for presenting yourself before us. I must say, I'm impressed personally by your articulation of issues and also showing interest in our party. And I'm made to understand you are one of the earliest aspirants who are here at this particular center. Having looked at all the issues and considering the fact that you are an earlier student in your old school, it will be impossible for us to present your candidature to the IBC because the law degree, the degree requirement is constitutionally enshrined, both for the president, the governor, and the deputy governor. For members of parliament, there was an issue and they have already gone to court, and the court has ruled in their favor that you do not have to possess university education for you to be allowed to run as a member of parliament or county assembly or senate or women rep. We therefore wish to inform you officially that we regret not to accept your candidature on the basis of the degree you are yet to complete. But we are also happy that you've shown interest in our party. We'll make sure that we keep your reports with us, and I would urge the Secretary General of the party to give a special invitation to Kasarani on the 14th of this month for her to be there.
Thank you as well. And thank you for giving me this chance to put the woman, the youth, and the person with disabilities on board.
Chair, let me just take this moment, first of all, to commend her for the courage and the confidence to make this application to vie as a presidential candidate. This is a groundbreaking application to the UDA party, and we have processed your application from beginning to the end because we believe in the candidature of any person who is qualified to vie for any position, that they can actually present their papers for our consideration. I am completely inspired today by you, Tracy, because while I was at your age, I would not even have thought of becoming an MCA. But imagine at your age, you have even dreamed to become a president of the Republic of Kenya. Every dream is valid, and we are very proud of you as your big sisters, as your mothers, because we have children in the university. We are very, very proud of you. When we see your future is great. So you keep moving, we will mentor you, we will walk the journey of leadership with you. We have youths in the party who are also working together with the party. So we will also make sure that even if you may not be able to buy now, you can be involved in other programs in the party. So you must always feel you have brothers and sisters here, people you can call as you seek answers in this political journey. So asante na karibu tena, we'll give you the invitation for the end. And I hope you are satisfied with the verdict.
Yes, I am.
Because we want to present the best candidate to make sure that UDA is in the political map. Let me just present. It's coming. Let me present a card to you. We could do it. She needs, yes.
Why don't you do it
Oh, two cards.
Two cards, yeah. Why don't you do it outside? You take a full picture.
We want to finish with the board inviting her. So, Tracy, we want to present to you this card. This card to invite you to the NDC. To invite you to the NDC and to tell you that you're part of us and we walk the journey with you. And the cards are too, so that your helper can also come to the NDC. Yeah? Thank you. Okay, yeah, the cards.
Why don't you take photos with her out there?
Yes.
Another presidential candidate is here.
Let me first go. This one. This one. Okay. You are in here.
This is our last presidential candidate. This is here. Yes. All the best.
Yes. My name is Ruto Verification and Deputy Chairman. This is a team comprising NEC members and also members of National Election Board. They are here. This is a team of, as I told the NEC, National Election Board. All the teams are here for purposes of this particular interview. There are a number of questions that we have included. I just wanted to know whether you will be able to meet the basic requirements. One is a degree, organized institutions. The other one is payment of literacy fees to the party.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. As for the question that you asked, Mr. Chair, on the first requirement of a degree, I actually hold 3 degrees. I hold a Bachelor of Education degree from Peace University. I hold a Bachelor's of Laws degree from the University of Nairobi. And I hold an MBA degree from Peace University. And currently I'm a student at the Kenya School of Law, which I had submitted to the party. On to the payment of the nomination fee, I'm a hustler. Despite my many degrees, I've not been able to get a job. I've not been employed. So practically it was impossible to raise the nomination fee, but I believe in the hustler's nation. And I have written a letter to the chairman through the secretary applying for a waiver of the same.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We'll proceed with the questions as laid out, starting with question 1.
My name is I'll be asking you your first question from the Commission. Secretary, can you kindly tell us about yourself?
Thank you, University. I did my first I went to, I started at Kisii County. I did my KCPE from St. Charles and Caroline Makara Primary School. Then I proceeded to St. Joseph School, Rapongi, where I did my KCSE. Then I was admitted at Kisii University to do my first degree, at a graduate degree, Bachelor of Education Arts, History and Kiswahili. After that, I proceeded to the University of Nairobi to do my second undergraduate, that's Bachelor's of Laws. At the same time, I started my MBA at Kisii University. I graduated from my undergraduate first degree, Kisii University in 2018, and I graduated on 17 December 2021 from Bachelor's of Law, University of Nairobi, and I'm currently a student at the Kenya School of Law. In terms of work experience, I've not been able to get a job in our republic, but I'm a small-scale trader. I own a small car wash in Kisii. I do small welding in Kisii that allows me to enable me to pay my bills. And I'm a husband of one and a father of one. Thank you very much.
Why have you chosen the UDA party over and above the other parties registered in the country?
I chose the UDA party because it's a party that resonates with my number one, political ideology. Number one, I believe that as a country we need to reorganize how we do our things. A practical example, I belong to a circle in the village called Jajiri Circle, and currently we're looking for about 2 million, so that we're able to begin a small industry that, number one, does water purification and packages it, and number two, to do a small nail manufacturing, the wire nails, the normal sumari that we do in construction. And when we are doing the calculation, we realize that we need 2 million to start the same. So I'm the political ideology that instead of aiding Kenya Airways with 2 billion, if this 2 billion we're able to take it to the small circles in the villages and the small self-help groups in the village, we'll be able to redeem our people. Yeah? That we will be able to change our country. Yeah? Because that will create more employment than the 100 billion that has been pumped into Kenya Airways, for instance, over the last 5 years. And that's the way we can only change this country. So for me, the bottom up is the way to go. And I really believe that's the way we can give employment to our young people, to our young men and women in this country. That's why I chose this party, because I believe the hustlers nation, it believes that you can be anything in this country, regardless of the name of your father. And that's why I chose this party, because I mean, that's my life. I want to be in a party that will give opportunities to hundreds and thousands and millions of young Kenyan men and women, despite their hard work, they have not been able to secure a job. Yeah, that's why I joined this party.
Thank you. My name is Balindiway Media, Deputy Chair, Personal Strategy. I'll ask you the blunt question. As a president, how will you ensure that you realize the UDA vision?
As I've mentioned before, as a president, I will put more emphasis on the small circles and the small youth groups and women groups that are doing something, that are already doing something in the village. You realize that we have small circles and small self-help groups in the village that are really doing so much for the society. You will wonder how a Mama Mboga, who sells just the Mboga in the village, she makes her 200, is able to take her children, her 4 or 5 children, through the education system and through to university. Yeah? But you realize that they are able to do this. And I'm a practical example of this. My parents are not that privileged, but they have been able to give me the best education that you can get in this country. Yeah, in the best public universities that you can go to. And that is courtesy of the small self-help groups, the small circles, that this Mama Mboga, they're able to save their 100 shillings a day, and they're able to take their students to the University of Nairobi, the best university, among the best universities in the continent. So as a president of this republic, I'll be able to reorganize this country so that we're able to pump more money into those small-scale groupings of people already doing something. The Kenyan people are very hard-working people. And the Kenyan people know that they don't need government support to move to the next level. They believe in working hard. So these people are already working hard. If we can do just something small and some small support from government in terms of tax waivers and etc., they'll be able to do more. That's where I'll put my focus. So,
my question is, what motivates you to contest for the
the thing that motivates me to run for this job, I'm not running this election for anything. I'm running this election for number one. The unemployed, the million unemployed youths like myself, regardless of their level of qualifications. I've applied for over 500 jobs. I've gone to about 50 interviews. But regardless of that, I'm not able to get a job because, of course, the opportunities that are out there, vis-a-vis the opportunities that are there, they don't match. So that's why I'm running this election for the people like this. The unemployed millions of Kenyans out there who have worked and despite their hard work, they are not able to get an opportunity. Number two, I'm running this election for the small scale farmers in the villages and the tiny villages across the country, from Elgeyo Marakwet to Kisii to Nandi to the south coast and everywhere, who despite their hard work, they have been weighed down by the heavy taxes. The government has not provided that conducive environment to enable them do business and take their children to school. That's why I'm running this election. I'm running this election for the border guys. We all appreciate the good work that the border people are doing. I'm running this election so that I can empower them more, so that despite their small business, despite their small hustles, they're able to be rewarded for their hard work. I'm running this election for all the young men, all the young women, the women of this country, the people, the PWDs, the people who have been able differently, who despite their hard work, they're not able to walk into a bank and get a credit facility to boost their business. That's why I'm running for this election, so that these mama mboga who don't own a piece of land, who don't have a title deed, they don't have a logbook for a car, to be able to get a credit facility to boost their business. That's why I'm running this election, so that we can reorganize this country, so that these people, we can give them an opportunity. Because I believe in a society where every young man or woman, or every woman or every Kenyan who works hard and his hard work should be rewarded and recognized. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wina. President, can you tell us its case and probably competence? Do you possess that can make you an ideal UDA president?
The number one is
skills and competence. You know, the learning is learning. Experience, skills, so that we also have the best UDA candidate presented.
To begin with, to talk about skills, number one, I have been privileged to be a leader in every family that I've gotten myself into. Beginning right from primary school, I was a monitor. High school, I was a health captain. At Kisii University, if you're able to Google me online, you'll be able to realize that I was a student leader at Kisii University. I ran for president. I narrowly lost, but I was able to win the speaker of Kisii University. So I've been able to be a student leader of over 20,000 students who were at Kisii University at that time when I was a student leader. Further, I've been able to run a circle called the Ajiri Circle Society. Actually, it was a self-help group. It was registered in 2015, and in 2020 it was registered as a circle, which I'm currently the chairman. And we've been able to transform lives of over 2,000 members who are members of the circle. So in terms of skills, I'll say that the leadership skills is something that I have experience in. I've been a youth leader. Previously, I was in Jubilee. I was able to coordinate a few things from this government. I was a youth leader at Jubilee. In terms of competence, I'd say that I believe that I'm very competent to run this country, because everything that I've laid my hands on, I've been able to make it successful. I usually tell people, if you are to judge me by my failures, because my failures are less than my successes. So if you are to judge me on anything, judge me on my failures. Anything I've laid my hands on, I've left a mark. Every room I've walked into, people have been able to recognize that there was someone here. Even if you go to my classmate at the University of Nairobi, if you ask them about Orina, they'll tell you who Orina is. So I'd say that I believe I'm competent to run this country, or any position that I find myself in. I'm competent enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. How do you plan to run an issue-based, devoid of any form of violence during your campaign?
Thank you very much for the question. I happen to be a student leader in those days when of Universal Suffrage. To understand university education, university leadership, it used to be very chaotic in the past. And that's why it was even necessary for one of our leaders at UDA, Honorable Aden Duale, to bring a bill to Parliament and change how the university does the election, because it used to be very chaotic. But when I ran for election at Kisi University, I was able to manage that, because what causes violence is disagreement between people. And what causes this, number one is interest, and number two is communication. As a presidential candidate, I think I'll be able to manage this. Number one, through managing the interests of these people who are likely to cause violence. And number two is to ensure that the communication is very key. Communication is done perfectly well. And I thank the management of this party. They have been able to hire the top the top Delacrine of PR in this country, so that the communication aspect of the party is done so well that even the people who disagree, you will disagree politely. Thank you.
Given the UDA tickets and the elected president afterwards, what are we expecting from the regime in the first 100 days?
In the first 100 days, as I've mentioned before, the first thing that I'll do is I understand that most of the problems that we're facing as a country, what we're trying to do is not something that is, we can say that absolutely new, but it's something that has been done, because putting more money into the small enterprises in the villages. But we encountered a challenge with the youth fund, the women fund, and all those kitties that even the 30% procurement, that is the AGPO, Access Government Procurement Operation, that was meant for the youth. We as a country, we encountered a challenge. That is corruption. The first thing is that we will find a way to fasten our judicial process, so that number one, we can eradicate corruption, because that is our greatest undoing as a country. That is preventing young men and women and the small scale and everybody in the country from moving forward. Number one, I'll deal with that. The second thing I'll do in my first 100 days as President of the Republic of Kenya is that I'll push more resources to the circles in the villages, because I'm a product of those small self-help groups the small chamas in the villages. That's what I've been paying my school fees up to this point. Even now I'm going to the Kenya School of Law. I'm going to a chama that I belong to ask for a small loan to pay my fees, that I'll be able to pay that loan at an interest rate that is a bit lower. So I'll put more resources into that. And number 3, I'll put more emphasis on healthcare. You realize that in this country, healthcare is something that can really take you back if you don't have a good insurance cover. Just one disease can take you back 20 years, because for instance, if your family member falls ill and she's admitted or is admitted, and you pay a bill of, let's say, 10 million, so somehow you have to sell even your sofa set to pay for this bill. So I'll put more emphasis on that. And then in my first 100 days, I look for a way of reducing the taxes that you need to pay to import manufacturing machines in this country. If we can reduce that, because I don't understand where as a country we can import toothpicks when toothpick manufacturing machines goes for $4,000 in the streets of Wanzu. Why don't we reduce the taxes so that we enable more young people and more women and more organized groups to import these machines, and we do this locally here so that we create more jobs, so that we can deal with this unemployment issue. Yeah? Thank you.
Okay. My name is Oscar Gaida. I'm the Secretary of Economic Affairs and Planning. How will your presidency inspire civil servants to provide the highest level of service to the people?
Thank you very much for your question. In terms of the civil service, I have been able to interact with some of these civil servants, especially from my home county. You realize that as